Hi everyone, welcome back. Algebra 1 moves on. We're still working on the expressions and the order of operations lesson. Let's do a few more problems. Evaluate each expression. Problem number 1. What could be done? Well, as usual, because we're talking about order of operations, what I said. Write down, PEMDAS. Everybody knows by now, P stands for parentheses, E for exponents, M for multiplication, D for division, A for addition, S for subtraction. Okay, I'm looking at my problem. Do I have parentheses? Yes, I do. 5 plus 3 inside the parentheses will give me 8. Now my expression will be 8 divided by 2 plus 2. Do I have exponents? No. Do I have multiplication? No. Is there division? Yes, it is. 8 divided by 2. That's 4. My expression is simplified now to 4 plus 2. 4 plus 2 is actually 6. And you know what? I'm done. Okay? That was an easy one. Moving on. 7 times 5 minus 3 times 4. Okay? And thus, no parentheses, no exponents. I do have multiplication. Actually, I have two of them, so I'm going to go left to right. Okay? 7 times 5, that will be 35, minus 3 times 4 will be 12. 35 minus 12 equals what? Now, if you cannot do it this way, you can just write them down, one underneath the other, right? 35 minus 12, make sure you line up your place values, right? And I have what? 5 minus 2 is going to be 3. 3 minus 1 will be 2. The answer here will be 23. You are done and you're moving on. Okay, as usual, problem number 5 here. I need to follow the order of operations. PEMDAS. Parentheses. Yes, I have 3 plus 6. That will be 9. Are there any exponents? Yes. I have 3 squared. 3 squared is what? 9. And I have 9 divided by 9. That's the only operation left, right? 9 divided by 9 equals 1. And here we go. Another problem solved. Questions? I don't think so, right? Let's do another one. 2.1 divided by, in parentheses, 0.5 plus 0.2. What should we do? Think. Well, Mr. N told us to write down the order of operations. Right? Do we have parentheses? Yes, we do. In the parentheses, I have 0.5 plus 0.2. Now, you should remember that when you have to add decimals, your decimal points, okay, should be lined up. And then you add right to left. 5 plus 2 will give you 7. Bring down the decimal point, and 0 plus 0 will be 0. 0.7. So your parenthesis now is substituted by the 0.7. The first part does not change, right? I still have 2.1 divided by 0.7. Now, as you notice, you're dividing two numbers with decimals. You can move on and just perform this division, or you may say, well, this is the same as 2.1 over 0.7. Okay, when you divide, you have a quotient, you have a fraction. Looking at my fraction, it seems that I have decimals on top and at the bottom of my fraction. My numerator and my denominator are decimals. And I will be able to move my decimal point the same number of steps in both top and bottom without changing the value of my fraction, right? You're basically doing what? You're multiplying each one of them by 10, okay? As you can see, the value doesn't change. I still have the same fraction, the same ratio if you want, and I feel better now because by multiplying 2.1 by 10 I will get 21, and when I multiply 0.7 by 10 I'm getting 7, and now it looks much better, right? It is the same fraction, but it's a much friendlier one because 21 and 7, 21 divided by 7, every one of us knows will be 3. You are done. Your whole expression is simplified now to 3. Okay, let's try another one. Alright, well, this one looks like an ugly one, but you know what? Do not panic. What is the first step? Write down the order of your operations. PEMDAS. That's the magic word, right? Do I have parentheses? Yes, sir, I got plenty of them. Well, one at a time. First parenthesis here, 6 plus 8. What is 6 plus 8? That would be 14. Now, as you can see, because I have two parentheses here close to each other, that implies multiplication, right? So now the sign between this 14 and the next value will be multiplication. And the next parenthesis is 8 minus 3, which is 5. Alright? What is the next sign? Division. But I still have a parenthesis to work with, right? This one. And make sure you're not forgetting the exponent right there. And let's work inside the parenthesis. Inside this parenthesis I got addition and subtraction. I'm gonna go left to right. 9 plus 3. So let's take it separate. I get 9 plus 3 minus 2. 9 plus 3 is 12. 12 minus 2 would be 10. Okay? So for this parenthesis, I will have 10. So what I said, don't forget about the exponent. I have 10 squared. Great. Done with the parentheses. Moving down, my PEMDAS, my order of operations. Do I have exponents? Yes, I have. I have a 10 squared. 10 squared is actually 100. The other part, I got 14 times 5, right? 14 times 5. I'm gonna go with that because the next one will be division, right? So I'm done with my exponents. Actually, let's rewrite everything here. 14 times 5 divided by 100. I have multiplication, right? Which will go first. It will be 14 times 5, and if you cannot do it there, you can take it separate and say, well, 14 times 5. 5 times 4 is 20, right? 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 will be 70. 14 times 5 is 70. Next operation, divide that by 100. Now, if you guys remember, when you divide by 100, your decimal point will move to the left as many steps, as many zeros your multiple of 10 has. I got 2 zeros here, right? 1, 2. I'm going to move 1, 2 steps. Your decimal point will end up right there, and your answer will be 0.70. But that 0 is not necessary, right? It will be just 0.7. If you cannot do it this way, you may say, well, 70 divided by 100, it's 70 over 100, which is what? That's 70 hundredths. Or you can say, well, first of all, 0 and 0 cancels out, right? Because you're basically dividing by 10 each one. You have 7 tenths. 7 tenths as a decimals looks like that. and this is the answer. If I made any mistake, let me know. That will be extra credit. If you catch me in, making a mistake, I would like to reward you for that. Let's try another one. Okay, 14 here, so that's the problem, right? As usual, I'm going to write down the order of operations. And that's parentheses. Yes, I have 0.2 plus 0.3, 0.2 plus 0.3. My decimal point is lined up, right? 2 plus 3 is 5, decimal point 0. So that will be 0.5. Now don't forget that you have to multiply this one by 6. I'm using this parenthesis just to make you understand that one period right sign here, that's multiplication, the other one is the decimal point, minus 0.25. Well, moving down the list, do I have exponents? No. Do I have multiplication? Yes, I do. I actually have 6 times 0.5. Now when you multiply, I'm going to write it backwards because you guys know multiplication is commutative, so I can write it as 0.5 times 6. How do you multiply decimals? Okay, do you remember that? When you multiply decimals, you multiply the numbers ignoring any decimal point. So basically I have 6 times 5, which everybody knows, equals 30. Then you will count how many numbers you have over the decimal point. And I have only one, that 5, right? That 5 is over the decimal point. Well, you will move your decimal point here on 30. You basically need to have the same number of digits over the decimal point in your answer, right? So because 6 times 5 was 30, I need to have one number over the decimal point, which in this case is 0, and that's why the answer here would be 3, right? So 6 times 0.5 is nothing else but 3. Don't forget, I have to take 0.25 out of this number. Well, how do you perform that? Well, everybody should remember, and you should remember, that any whole number could be written as a decimal. So that 3 can be written as 3.00, from which I have to take away 0.25, right? Now, if you cannot perform this in a linear expression here, right, you can take it separately and say, well, 3.00 minus 0.25, and pay attention, your decimal points should be lined out, right? One underneath the other, and you're gonna go right to left. 5 out of 0, you need to borrow 1 from the next one, right? 5 out of 10 will be 5. Next, 2 out of 9, right? Because here I don't have 0 anymore because I borrow 1. I have 9. 2 out of 9 will be 7. Bring down the decimal point. And next would be 0 out of, you're right, out of 2, because you already borrowed, 1 from this tree, and would be 2. One way to check that you got it right is basically to add your result to the number that was subtracted. 5 plus 5 is 10. 1 goes over, right? 1 carries over. 2 plus 7 is 9, plus 1, 10. 2 plus 1, 3. We got it right. The answer would be 2.75. And we're done with this problem. Any questions? Very good. Moving on. Okay, let's see this one. Problem number 16. A squared minus 6 times 4 over 2 times 5 minus 4. And that's parentheses. Well, I don't have parentheses. Although you can see that some numbers are in the parentheses. They're in parentheses just to let you know that, that's 6 times 4 and 2 times 5. Okay, so no parentheses. Do I have exponents? Yes, I have. So my exponent First one, 8 squared. What is 8 squared? How many factors of 8? I got 2 of them, and they need to be multiplied. That would be 64. 8 times 8, 64. So I have 64 minus 6 times 4. Be careful here, right? Over 2 times 5 minus 4. And you can work with one at a time. Alright. So first you can do one of the numerators here. I mean your numerator and your fraction, and then your denominator, and then subtract 4. So let's work with this top here. What is that? 64 minus 6 times 4 equals. Following order of operations, before I will subtract, I need to multiply, right? 6 times 4, that is 24. And I have 64 minus 24, which is equal to what? 4 out of 4 is 0, 2 out of 6 will be 4, that gives me 40. So my fraction now looks like 40 on the top, and the bottom I can do it right here, 2 times 5, that equals 10 minus 4. Okay, now order of operations again tells me that in order to simplify this expression, first I need to go with division. 40 divided by 10. Well, 40 divided by 10 is nothing else but what? 4. Your expression now is 4 minus 4, and that's nothing, nada, 0. Okay? And this is the answer to my problem. 0. One more. Alright, pandas. If I'm going too fast, please pause the video or rewind it, pause it, and make sure you understand everything I'm doing here. Okay? Do I have parentheses? Yes, I do. I actually have 2 of them, right? 2 kinds. You always start with the round one. This is my round parentheses, and if you want, you can take it separately here and find what is that. 2 times 3 minus 5. Well, order of operations tells me to go first with multiplication, right? 2 times 3 is 6, minus 5, that would be 1. So instead of this parenthesis here, I have just 1. Let's rewrite everything. I got 6 minus. Now, because the round parenthesis was solved, I will change my brackets here into a round parenthesis, and I have 2 plus 7 over 3 minus 1. And you close the parenthesis. Okay? Once again, I have parentheses. 2 plus 7 over 3 minus 1. Let's do that. 2 plus 7 over 3 minus 1. Well, because I'm dealing with, fraction and subtraction, I have to go with the fraction first, which means division, right? But before I can do that, I need to add the numbers at the top, which is what? 2 plus 7. That would be 9 over 3, from which I have to take away 1. I mean, imagine that this, numerator here has a parenthesis, and that's why you're doing it first. 9 over 3, you guys know what is that. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So basically, your parenthesis is nothing else but 3 minus 1, which everybody knows equals 2. Okay? So instead of this parenthesis, I have just 2. My expression is now 6 minus 2, which equals 4. And we are done. We're good. Once again, like I said, pause the video and make sure you understand every step. Rewind, go back, and follow me. Okay? And actually, at the beginning of every problem, you should stop the video and try to solve the problem on your own, and then check to see if you did it right, if you did it the same way that I've done it. Okay? And one more problem for today. there's no problem here. Give me just a second and I will find one. Alright guys, the last problem for today. 6 plus 2 squared over 16 plus 3 times 9 PEMDAS, right? Parentheses, do I have parentheses? Yes, I do. 6 plus 2, that will be 8. So my expression is 8 squared, don't forget that, right? Over 16 plus 3 times 9. Do I have exponents? Yes, it would be 8 squared. What is 8 squared? That is 64. We did it in the previous problem. Over 16 plus 3 times 9. What is 64 divided by 16? Is that 4? Let's think about 4 times 6, 24. 4 times 1, 4 plus 2, 6, 64. Yes, indeed. That would be 4. Okay. My expression now is 4 plus 3 times 9. What is the next? Multiplication. 3 times 9 is 27. So I have 4 plus 27, which equals 31. And we are done. Okay. This was a quick review for your expression chapter 1.03. I hope you guys will do great with the quiz. I will see you in class tomorrow. Thank you very much. Bye for now.